All right, welcome back again. Big B Sports Talk Podcast. Thank you guys. Man, a lot going on. The Olympics just started. A lot of stuff going on. Football training camp, baseball in full swing. Corona still kicking our butt. COVID, and that's what we're going to talk about a little bit today. Is COVID, vaccine, in sports. Is that, I'm just thinking as far as what's going on here and what everyday life has come into play with all of this. I mean, everyday life is starting to somewhat get back to normal, and getting back to normal is going to mean consequences. And what I say consequences, what I mean by that is you're going to have to make some life decisions that are going to affect you, your kids, your job, that are going to affect you. It's just the way that this is the new norm. I know that's a played out term and I don't like using it, but it's the truth. This is our new normal. Making some decisions about this pandemic per se that it's new territory. It's just new territory. And, and to talk about this subject is going to have to play a little bit into the political side, not choosing a side, but talking about side. Not necessarily sides, not Republican or Democrat, not that kind of side. It's just, and let me give you an example. Basically, what we're looking at right now is with this virus, and especially how it pertains to sports, is you got to make decisions on whether you want to take the vaccine. NFL right now they've come out with protocols on what they want to move forward. The protocols basically, your vaccine, you've received the vaccine or you haven't. There's where we're at. Okay. Now, nobody is forcing anybody to do anything, because you can't make people in America do anything that you just can't. If you don't want to get the vaccine, by all means, you don't have to get the vaccine, and you're not going to be arrested for it. You're not going to go to jail. Nobody's going to come take your house or your car or your money. None of that is going to happen, and you shouldn't be judged. You shouldn't be. If you don't want to do it, okay. You shouldn't be judged. On the flip side, if you do, there's going to be, the same applies. You're not going to get any extra money. You're not going to get another car or another house. Nobody's going to throw, give you your salary. They're not going to triple your salary or anything like that. It's just a matter of what people want to do. My perspective is I got it. My wife got it. My family's got it, because that's what we chose to do. Now, are there going to be some consequences if 5 years later my liver turns into a rock? Okay, but I chose to do that, and that's my choice, and I got to live with it. And I think that's what people are missing the boat, especially when it comes to the NFL right now. They're missing the boat because nobody said you have to do it. But if you don't, the key thing is consequences. Consequences. Nobody, they always forget that it's just like the First Amendment. Oh, I can say whatever I want. You're trying to ruin my free speech. Nobody's telling you can't say what you want. Nobody's telling you that you're going to get arrested because you want to say something, whatever it is that you say. Nobody is saying that you can't say it. But there are consequences. Free speech just means you can say what you want and not be arrested for it. Doesn't mean that there's not a consequence, that your boss, your manager, or whoever, that they can't fire you because you said something outlandish that is going to tarnish that business. It does not mean that. Same thing with this. Literally the same thing. If you don't want to get vaccinated, you don't have to. But But if your employer, i.e., the NFL, says, okay, if you don't, this is what you have to do. This is what we're doing this year. We lost enough money last year, and everybody lost enough money. And I'm not saying that the NFL can't withstand losing money. I'm not saying anything about that. I'm comparing the NFL to the average me and you. I'm not saying that. But just because they're rich doesn't mean that they have to lose a bunch of money, that it's okay. Oh, hey, you got billions of dollars. You can afford it. What? Doesn't mean that. Again, America, capitalism. You can't just because you're rich doesn't mean that you can afford it. Oh, well, too bad, so sad, you lost it. You can make it back. It doesn't work that way. They've decided. The NFL has decided. This is what we're doing. We're not going to lose it. We're not rescheduling these games. And if we do have to, and I like it. I like the approach. If we do have to, you're not getting paid. Because we're not getting paid, you're not getting paid. I like that approach. And people, well, the NFL Players Association, some of the players are coming out saying they stink. And hey, man, in any job, if you don't show up to work because you can't, if you don't have paid time off, you don't get paid. Now, again, I'm the first person to say it's not a normal job, but when you start bringing unions and stuff like that into it, it becomes a normal job. And if you don't show up and you cause your employer to lose money because you can't show up, if they don't get paid, you don't get paid. That's life. That's called a job. I agree. 1,000%. 1,000%. You don't like it? You don't want to take the vaccine? Please do not. If you don't feel like it's good for you, please do not. But then don't complain if you don't get paid. Or don't complain when you cause your buddy, your teammate, not to get to get paid, and then they look at you side-eyed. I mean, you're the one who caused it. And if they look or say or whatever, it's one thing to not get it and somebody not say and judge you and say anything to you. That's one thing. Nobody should be doing that. It's another if you cost me money because of your decisions. That's something else. Well, Brian, you're right. And if that's the way you feel and you don't want to get in the way of your buddy being able to get paid, then quit. NFL is not a job where you have to stay. It's not a for life position like the Supreme Court. If you don't like it, quit. These are the rules. Deal with it. I'm just tired of the hypocrisy of all of this. And kind of what I mentioned at the beginning, the hypocrisy is everybody was flipping out about masks at the very beginning. Oh, well, first, and before that, Corona's not real. It's not that big of a deal. Everybody will be fine. It's just overblown. Okay, that proved to be wrong. Well, they're making us wear masks. They're taking away our freedoms. I need to be free. I get that. But don't go a place where because don't go anywhere where you have to wear a mask. You know where one of those places is? Your house. Don't leave. I need to be able to go where I want. You can. But if you come into my place of business and I say that you have to wear a mask, then you need to have a mask on or you can't come in. Same thing with an airport, an airplane, a gas station, the shoe store, anywhere. If they say, this is my business, this is what I want, then you do. It's crazy to me that people just can't see that. And I just refuse to believe that people, just people in general, I refuse to believe that people are that stupid. I don't want to believe that. And what I say that is, it's not to insult anybody. It's really how I feel. I don't believe people are that stupid. I believe that people dig in and make choices and then just dig in and will not bend. They just won't change. They won't look at the other side regardless. They just dig in and that's it. Well, you can't be that way if things are changing. You have to be flexible. That's what this world is about. You got to be flexible on certain things. You got to go with the ebb and flow. Things are not always going to be the same. Things are not the same as they were in 1980 as they are in 2021. They're just not. And I don't care. I was going to get on here and talk about, people that don't get the vaccine it's not about that. In sports, it's about making choices to benefit a business. And I think we lose sight of sports being a business. It's a business. It just is. First, before anything else. Now, it didn't always have to be that. But first, right now, and probably forever, sports at the highest, not even at the highest levels, in college too, especially in college. But sports are a business first. Come to that realization, you'll feel better about yourself. When you keep thinking that it's for the love of the game and for this and for that, that way of thinking has gone out the window forever. Now, guys love the game. Don't get me wrong. And gals, guys, whoever's playing, they love it. But they do it to make money because otherwise they don't play for free. I say it all the time. If it's for the love of the game. And I go, then why don't you play for free? Because I can assure you that they will let you. Take less. I can assure you they will let you take less money. I heard somebody was arguing with me the other day talking about Antonio Brown. Well, he fleeced the NFL. He didn't want all he wanted was a Super Bowl. And I'm like, he also lost $39 million. So, yeah, he got a Super Bowl ring, and I'm sure he wanted it. Don't get me wrong. The pinnacle of your sport, you wanted one. But I'm going to guess he didn't want to lose $39 million worse than what he wanted a Super Bowl ring. So, well, he didn't need the money. What do you mean he didn't need the money? Again, going back to, he's got money. Well, really? I bet you if you asked Jeff Bezos today, hey, would you like to lose $39 million? You just lost it. I guarantee you he's going to tell you, no, I don't want to lose $39 million. And here's Antonio Brown, who don't have a tenth of that man's money. You're going to tell me that he just doesn't want it? Come on. Let's not be stupid. But the virus has just caused chaos everywhere. The virus and this pandemic has caused it from college or from professional ranks to college to high school to little league. I mean, it's just killed. I mean, for me, the whole last year and a half was just awful. I mean, when they stopped it and we couldn't play anything, when they stopped that and we didn't have the NCAA tournament in 2020, and they cut off the NBA season, and then they didn't even start the baseball season, I'm like, oh my goodness, that's when I knew that it was bad. Because I knew that we had the reports and things that had been coming out. When I knew it was bad is when they didn't have, I'm like, that's $1 billion or so that the NCAA is saying we can't make because of this. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is real. This is a real thing. And it just cut the hearts out of sports fans everywhere. Not being able to go, not being able to watch. And then when it did come back, all this past year, let's just be honest, people, it was garbage. I mean, guys, they were playing, but there's no fans. I mean, a college football game with no fans. College football is all about the fans. College sports in general is all about the fans. All about the fans. And we had nothing. We had literally had nothing. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is terrible. And it was. It was terrible. And it got played and we watched and I go, but there would be times, and my wife would come in, you're not watching the game? No. I mean, I can't get into it emotionally. It just, no, nothing. I would text my friends. They'd be saying the same thing. No, not watching today. Watching reruns of some other show versus sports. This virus, COVID, has just crushed the spirits. We got to get it back. We got to get it back. And I think this is a way to get it back. I'm not here to tell people or even want to tell people what to do. I do have a stance. I'll even let you know what my stance is. I think everybody should get it. I don't have any grudges about it. I think everybody should get vaccinated. And if you don't, and you happen to catch it, I don't think you should be going to the hospital. That's my stance. Well, Brian, what are you talking about? That's cruel. No, it's not cruel. I mean, first we didn't believe the numbers of people that of how it was going to affect us. Okay, that turned out to be true. Then we didn't believe the numbers of people that were actually getting sick from it. Well, that turned out to be true. Then we didn't believe the numbers of people that were dying from it. Then that turned out to be true. Now they've got numbers out of people that are in the hospital and getting sick that are unvaccinated. Now we don't want to believe that. Well, that is true. So at what point do we stop saying all these things aren't true and just, you know what, I'll get out in front of this for once. And if you don't like the vaccine, it is what it is. Okay, fine. Just, again, like I said, I don't want this becoming into a political whatever, but if you don't want to do it, fine. But when you get sick, stay home. Because you're telling me that you don't believe in the vaccine and what they're giving you, but you do believe in all the stuff that they're going to pump into you to get you well. Interesting. Because I've been to the hospital before, and most people have in general. And I'm going to go out on a limb and bet everything that I got that you didn't tell the doctor, nope, don't give me that. What is it? What's in that? What's in that? Don't give it to me yet. No. I need to do all the research. I need to figure out what it is. I need to know exactly what it is. Don't give me anything. Just let me sit here. I guarantee that did not happen while you were in the hospital. That didn't happen. You didn't do the research on what they were giving you. They just plugged an IV in you and gave you whatever it was for you to feel better. But you believe that and you trust that, but then they tell you that this will save you, but you won't trust that. That's the part where when I said that I didn't believe people were that stupid, I'm like, okay, I don't. You just get dug in. Maybe people are that stupid. I don't know. But that's what I'm talking about. And the hypocrisy. It's the hypocrisy for me. It's the hypocrisy for me. And sports shouldn't be any different. Allow sports to thrive. How sports thrives is sports makes money. How sports is going to make money is getting a product out on the field every week. It's a cycle. You got to allow that to happen. Heck, college, and in college it's even worse, because in college they're saying, look, if you don't get vaccinated, you can't be here. You cannot step on campus. Well, that's you're infringing on my rights. No, you don't have to get it. Again, you don't have to. And I know people are losing their jobs. The Washington State coach, he's going to lose his job because they're not going to allow him to coach. He's going to lose his job. The people that we've already seen in the NFL. Sorry, and I'm for me, more power to them. If you're willing to give up your salary and your job for what you believe in, I applaud you. Stick to what you believe. If that's what you believe, then that's what you believe. And then stick to it. But don't be the guy that does it and, I didn't want to do it, but you made me do it. No, nobody's making anybody do anything. But the thing about it is, and nobody talks about this. I listen just like everybody listens, and I haven't heard anybody say this. NFL, college sports, whatever, everything, Major League Baseball, NBA, they are corporations, institutions, but they also employ people. Their number one job, outside of making money, their number one job is to ensure the safety of all employees. All. Not you. All. And to do that, if they believe that this is how you do it, not infringe on your rights, this is how we keep everyone safe, then you need to abide by that. If you don't want to, we understand. We applaud you, but you cannot be here. The NFL is that way. The NBA is going to be that way. Major League Baseball is going to be that way. College is that way. I mean, if anybody who's been to college and knows what college is about, let's just say you're in a dorm. From a small school, a dorm of 300 people, to a gigantic school where you have, and I'm just talking about one dorm, a dorm of 3,000, 4,000 kids in it. Do you know how fast COVID-19 would spread if it got into a college dorm? In 3 days, 90% of the kids would have it. 3 days, because that's how dorms work. They're filthy. College kids are not clean. They're not washing. They're not doing any of those things. And you can say, well, my kid is. No, they are not. When they got it out of your house, they turned filthy. Myself included. You're telling me that a bunch of 17, 18 to 21, 22-year-olds are clean individuals? No, they're not. Stop it. So that's the difference. There is an employer, their job is to keep everybody clean. Start thinking of these franchises as employers, because they are first. Their job is to keep everyone safe. Everybody safe. Their job is not to worry about one individual person and what they personally believe. That isn't it. It's never going to be it. What's safe for everybody? This is what we believe. This is what we're doing. If you don't believe that, we understand. But you can't come here. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. I don't think there's anything wrong. Matter of fact, like I said earlier, I 1,000% agree with all of it. All of it. Because it's the right thing to do. And the hypocrisy goes even further. It's like people were so bent out of shape about allowing businesses to do what they want. Remember, at the beginning, everybody said, hey, the business should be able to make their own decision. We shouldn't tell the businesses what they can and can't do. Okay. But then when the businesses start doing that, and it's not your way, they're infringing on my rights. No. How about their rights? They have the rights too. It just doesn't match up with what you want it to be, which is okay. Doesn't have to. It's their business, just like it's your life. And to get past it, we all are going to have to come to an agreement about this, that people are going to do what they're going to do. I know what I said earlier, and that's a harsh way of looking at it, and maybe an insensitive way, maybe even an ignorant way. But again, this is the way I feel. It's what I think. You don't have to get it. If you don't. But if you get sick from it because you wouldn't do it, how is that fair to put other people's lives in danger? And that's the whole thing about it, is that we just really stop. I don't know that we've ever been a country, or not just a country, a world that has cared about anybody other than themselves and family. I know there are people out there that do that, but that's kind of what it comes down to. When you break it all down, do you care? And even people that get it, they don't care either. We just want to be safe for me and my family. Okay. Well, like I said, the consequence in 5 years, like I said, if my liver turns into a rock, I chose that. I'm going to have to live with it. That's the consequence. I'm not going to like it. I'm going to be absolutely mad, but I chose it. It can only be mad at myself. The same difference. If you don't and you get sick, then be mad at yourself and deal with it yourself. Just my opinion. Like I said, in all these sports franchises and what sports are doing, I know it's the big topic right now because the NFL is the one that's doing it and people are losing their job for it or choosing to step away from their job. I shouldn't say losing their job because that's not right. They're not losing their job. They're choosing to step away from the job. It's like the Vikings didn't fire the assistant coach. The New England didn't fire them. They told them, this is what you have to do to work here. They said no, so they chose not to work there. It's awesome. I believe in it. Stick to your guns. Don't be hypocritical. Give up for what you believe in. You know who did that? Muhammad Ali. The difference was he turned out to be right. Now, this was his situation. Well, technically it was life or death because he didn't want to go fight in Vietnam. Stick to your guns. I shouldn't even have brought that analogy because it's not even the same thing. It's not near the same thing, so I apologize. You can look at it where he stuck to his guns, but a pandemic versus a war, not the same thing. I apologize. Shouldn't have brought that up. Having said that, I believe stick to your guns. Stick to if that's how you feel. Great. But don't come a running. Don't be a hypocrite. That's my thing. You know how I am. Fair is fair. That's fair. It's touchy. I know it's touchy. I know it can get on nerves. I know it divides us. This is another thing that just divides us as a country. I mean, class, race, sex, now this. It's just something else that's dividing us. And it just, again, it's nauseating. And now it's getting into our sports. You could be a Republican, Democrat, white, black, whatever, male, female, whatever. But if you like the Steelers, which you should, you like the Steelers. And that's all that mattered. Now we're starting to mess with that. And I don't like it. I mean, man, let us have something. Give us something. But who am I asking? Well, it's us. It's us. You can't hate each other over this kind of stuff. Sports has got to bring us together. I live in a household with my wife who loves the Chiefs. Why? I don't know. I mean, her husband was touched by God to love the Steelers. Everybody doesn't get that ability. So you figure if God touched me, she should just gravitate to that. She doesn't, but I don't hate her. I just don't get it. I don't get it. But we gotta band this thing together a little bit. When they start messing with my sports, that's when my problem is. My politics, I don't really care because I don't care enough about it to even worry about it because I'm going to do what I'm going to do. But this sports stuff, don't be messing with our sports. And this coronavirus or COVID-19 and Delta variant and blah, 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 blah. All this stuff is messing with my sports. And I'm literally at my wit's end with it. I was texting my buddy just yesterday. And I said, I am over all of this. I thought it was getting better. It's not getting better. Now it's starting to go the other way again. And I'm over it. But we got to get over it. I'm past all the nonsense. Get out of the way. And let's all band together and try to help. So I know this is a little bit on the controversial side, maybe even on the long side. I apologize. But I felt like it was something that we should talk about. So any comments that you have, we're on YouTube. Go to Kool-Aid Sports. It's on YouTube. In the comments section, there's going to be where you can leave it to our website, which again, the website is www.koolaid, Kool-Aid with the C, Koolaids sports.com. Any emails that you want to send, emails at KoolAidSportsNetwork.com. Both of those will be in the comment section on YouTube. Obviously, we're on Facebook. You can get your podcast anywhere that there are podcasts. We're starting to pick up a little traction. I'll tell you, a lot of you have sent in emails and about what, and this was a big topic that people wanted to talk about. So just so you guys know, I'm going to be talking about stuff that you asked me to talk about. You know, I bring up some things, and there's some things like, you know, horse racing I wanted to talk about that nobody wanted to talk about. But for the most part, it's what you guys are asking. So that's what I go with. So yeah, anywhere that you get your podcast, we're there. Like I said, we're on YouTube. Leave a comment. You know, leave a comment. We're on Facebook. If you see it on Facebook, leave a comment. You know, spread it. Whatever. Help build the channel for all of us. Again, this is for all of us. You know, we're not getting paid for this thing. We're just trying to make it big so we can have some fun. So I appreciate all the support that I've received. Thank you guys. Until next time, thank you. I appreciate it. Have a good one.